Welcome to Insight Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm Devon Jones, a military veteran turned filmmaker. I found my spark in the military, and now I'm here to help you find yours. Insight Plug is a platform for your voice, stories to be shared, and ideas to flourish. Let's dive in and plug into creativity and entrepreneurship together. Today we have on our show actor Caleb Bailey. Caleb, welcome to the show.
Hello. It's good to meet all of you guys.
So I looked at your
I've only acted like once.
Your profile, and it looks like you recently worked on a short film called Masquerade. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it was for my senior thesis film. I'm still in school. I was just able to do it a little bit earlier. I have like 3 more classes, but after that I'll be out. Yeah, it was my senior thesis film. I just wanted to make something like a little coming of age story, especially being black in Tucson, and just kind of, like have a little of what I went through growing up and, show it on the screen, because I feel like it's a pretty unique perspective. Not a lot of people get to see somebody, especially from being black in Tucson. There is one person, Cord Jefferson, so shout out to him. So he was the first to really put us on the map.
All right, nice. All right, so speaking of that, so being that you said it was kind of like a small demographic in being black in Tucson, what would you say what inspired you to become an actor, being in that area, or just has acting always been something that you wanted to do overall?
I actually don't really act like that. I do more directing and writing, but I did take one acting class, and I did act literally yesterday for this film I was helping on. So I might end up doing more acting. I think it's fun. But in terms of directing and stuff, I think what inspired me was so I went to the U of A at one point, the University of Arizona, but I wasn't doing film at all. I had 2 friends that were doing film, and they're both black, and I remember he showed me his junior year film, and I was looking at all the other students that made films, and that really inspired me, because before that, I got into an accident, and I wasn't even at the U of A anymore. I ended up transferring to the community college, and at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was doing YouTube, though, and YouTube kind of transitioned to film because of that, going to that event and seeing other students and, just make films. I was like, okay, this is something. And I've always liked films. I've always liked movies. I've always been the type of person to, look at behind the scenes and just, explained videos. If you ever watched a movie and typed in explain, I always did that, and I always liked that idea of creating something. So this started with the YouTube, and then when I really started to see other people my age doing film, I wanted to do it.
Nice. And to hear, sorry about the accident. Glad you're still here, and that right there is like, yeah, what would you say something is like that's like an obstacle that you've been through, and that you experienced?
So the accident was a big one for me, because that just, at the time I was at the university and COVID was going on, and it just felt like I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And something else happened to where my financial aid or whatever was taking forever. So I ended up being out of school for like 4 or 5 months with like a broken arm, because I was in that bad accident. And so I was literally just doing nothing. I didn't know. I knew I didn't want to just give up college, but it just felt like, okay, I'm going to just work for the rest of my life. And, I I don't know how I'm gonna move out of my house. It was just like a lot of things going on because it felt like I'm so used to either working or just in school, and at that time I wasn't doing either, and it just felt really depressing. You know, I really felt depressing. I felt like uh I had nowhere to go. And like, you know, self-doubt creeps in. It's still something I'm still working on, but you know, it's just something I had to really like push through and see the end of it. Because and to be honest, if it wasn't for that accident, I would have never chose film. Like I would have never even did it. So it was a good thing in disguise.
It's a blessing. Um, so when it comes down to writing and directing, for the writing part of it, are you a writer that kind of what kind of sparks those ideas? Is this like an experience that you've been through, or is it like kind of just like I've been to this place, or kind of like a imaginative thought?
It's definitely based off experience. Like Masquerade's all based off, I would say, when I was at the University of Arizona, like the type of dudes I met and the situations we'd be in, just like, you know, just look like, even though we were in the first year of college, it was still like high school. So it was like just little drama and stuff, and just how we felt about women, and you know how women felt about men. It was just like something that always intrigued me. And my friends always talk about that. Like, you always talk about that, which is true. But it's like, now that I'm doing film, like I get a way to like, you know, write it down and make it into a story. So that's it's definitely based off experience. And I think what made me want to do Masquerade a lot was just, I think I ended up watching, I don't know if you've seen the show Better Call Saul. It's not related to Masquerade in the sense of like the subject matter, but in terms of a character arc. And I just wanted to see if I could challenge myself to make a really good character and see them change, you know? Obviously you do that with all stories, but I feel like not everyone can do that right. And I wanted to do that right because I like that idea of us seeing somebody's, you know, a section of their life and seeing how they are one way and how they end another way. So that was the biggest idea for me. And I wanted to challenge myself too, to see if I could do comedy and drama at the same time.
Nice.
So, yeah, like I've seen in other films and shows, because those two are like, I feel like just everyone can relate to that, you know? So that was my idea going into it.
Nice. All right. So let's talk. Let's dive in a little bit about like the writing. So this is probably more for the screenwriters. You mentioned character art. So when it comes down to writing and you're writing the screenplay, how are you navigating, you know, that character art? Like where are you finding those pieces at?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to my friend Musami. He really helped me craft the story at first. So he was my friend I met at Pima Community College, and he does film as well. And one day, like, I already had a draft written, but, you know, I was just, you know, it was just like the first draft. So it wasn't anything crazy. And at the time, I didn't even know screenwriting etiquette. I didn't know how to format anything. I didn't even take the class yet. The funny thing. But I remember he ended up texting me, and he was like, "Hey man, like I took screenwriting class if you ever want help." And so he texted me that, and I remember like a week or two later, I was like, "Hey bro, like I have the script. I want to do it for my senior capstone because I know I have it next year. Can you help me?" And he helped me really like learn how to format things and learn certain things I wasn't even thinking about because he took the class and he, you know, that's something he was interested in. So shout out to him. And I also had help from a professional script consultant that I met at a film mixer that really, I'm sorry if I'm getting off topic, but I have to say this.
No,
that really got me. That really just got me into the mindset of how a screenwriter should write things. But like when I first got help from my friend, we crafted the story, and then we sent it to the script consultant, and he liked the base of the whole story. So he's like, okay, you teared it to shreds at first, but he's like, I like what you're trying to do. So that was great. But back to your question about arcs, I think what it comes down to is you have to show what your character wants. And at the end, even if they don't get it, you have to show what they want first. The audience should know what they want first, regardless if they get it or not. So that's what I've learned about arcs. There's this video or series of videos on this YouTube page called Studio Binder, and they do a really good job of breaking down certain things. And they have like 4 different videos about different types of endings. So you have like the semi-sweet ending, you have the bittersweet ending, and then you have the happy ending. And so I remember looking at that, and I was like, okay, I this is how I'm going to go. Like, I'm going to make sure that we show our character Will and see what he wants. And at the end, you know, you see him change, and you see if he gets what he wants or if he gets what he needs. Because that's what it comes down to, really. If your character gets what they want and need, or if they get what they need or want. So it just depends on, because wants and needs are 2 different things. So in a screenwriting aspect, I know some people might think it's the same, but it's not. I can explain that too if you want.
Oh, yes, please do. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how I think of it is a want, like, let's say, what's a good idea? Okay, Cars. Cars is a really good example. Pixar is a really good example of great screenwriting. Like, most Pixar films, I know like people think it's just cartoonish, but honestly, an adult can watch Pixar and learn a lot. That's how good they're at writing. So Cars is a good example because you have Lightning McQueen. I know this is kind of funny, but he wants, you know, the piston cup. That's what he wants. What he needs is to humble himself, and he needs to, like, you know, be more down to earth, and, you know, and you kind of realize that he's kind of like lonely and stuff. So at the end of Cars 1, he doesn't get what he wants, which is the piston cup, but he gets what he needs, which is a community of people. And he obviously humbles himself due to the experience of him being in that town. So a want is something that the character just thinks that they need, and a need is something that they actually need, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's that like Studio Binder, and you know, just learning from my teacher and the script consultant and all that. That's different things I picked up from that.
That's awesome. I love it. That's actually just to throw a gem out there, as a screenwriter myself, that's something I learned early on as well. Yeah, with the wants and needs. We kind of got to sum it up to where a want will be something external, and a need would be something internal.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, Rocky wanted, you know, to win, you know, but internally he needed the love, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Yeah, so screenwriting, so when it comes down to directing, now, are you directing the scripts that you wrote, or are you directing other people's scripts as well?
I've only directed stuff I've written, and I've only written like 2 things so far, and I've directed both. But I'm more than willing to direct other people's stuff if I see the vision and I understand, like, you know, the script. I would be more than willing to do it.
Nice. Yeah. All right. So let's bring it back to Masquerade, the short film. You said is it submitting in film festivals as of right now?
Yes, I submitted it to at least 25. It's been selected in 2. 4 has declined it, which is fine. I mean, usually when you do film festivals, like, the ratio I heard is like a good ratio is like 40%, which makes sense. Because most of the time you're not gonna get every film festival ever. And once I get some more money, I'm gonna submit it to some more stuff. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Nice. There you go. Keep going. Keep at it.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, just touch base and you know, plug yourself out there. Where do you have any social media platforms? Where can people find you at?
Yes, so my Instagram is, I think it's Caleb_rocks at 811. I have not posted Masquerade yet, so I'm sorry, but I will probably in the next few months. It just depends. But if you send me a DM, I'll send it to you. Like, I'll send it to you individually. It's just because with the film festivals, I know they don't want it posted online. Some of them don't. So I have that. I don't really use my YouTube, but it's on my Instagram as well. But I'm going to start using it, so just follow my Instagram to see more updates on that.
All right. So I asked this question to all the guests here. What is a TV show, a movie, or a book that you will recommend to not just, a writer, maybe a director or someone who is interested in acting, or someone is just, something that kind of like help you, or with something that you would recommend? It could be one from each category or just one overall.
Okay. I'll do one from each category. TV show, I know it's cliche, but I feel like Breaking Bad. That's just a good, like, it hits on every cylinder, like the acting, the writing, every little thing matters in it. Everything pays off. Like, you could literally, like, this is Better Call Saul, that show too, but, like, for example, you take, what's his name's Ring, even that has meaning behind it. Like, there's so much nuance and there's so much little things and details about that show. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, like, it's something worth watching. I know it's like a common thing, but it's good for a reason, So I would say that for a show. And then for a movie, there's so many I could say. I'll say one, at least for a screenwriter and director. I'd say The Social Network. I really like David Fincher. So The Social Network, that's another movie, or that's another, like, film that just hits on all cylinders. The screenwriting, you had Aaron Sorkin, and the directing, David Fincher, one of the GOATs. So, like, that movie I can watch so many times because it just hits on every cylinder. It's just, and you would never think a movie about, Facebook would even be interesting, but the fact that they can take that concept and make it more than what it really was, that's a good movie to see. For sure. And book, I would say Save the Cat. Yeah, Save the Cat. And The Screenwriter's Bible, actually, that's another great book.
Nice. Thank you for that. All right, so before we head out, anything you want to tell to the audience that's listening?
Honestly, just keep going. I know that's common, but keep going. Use the resources that you have. Don't be afraid to look things up and ask other people or wherever you're at. Definitely, like, and if you're starting out, when you write, just write something that you can shoot, and use all the resources that you have to abundantly, because I feel like that's what I did. Every little thing that I thought was free, I made sure to do it, and do it a lot. For example, like screenwriting, that's free. Rehearsing with your actors, that's free. So just don't be discouraged because you think that you don't have any money, or you don't think that people are going to be into your vision. If you really believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing, it can be done. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Insight Plug. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it inspiring. If you love what you heard, don't forget to rate and leave a review on www.insightplug.com. That's www.insightplug2gs.com. Your feedback helps us bring you more content. Until next time, keep creating. Devon Jones signing off. Stay inspired.